Every year, more than 1 million people suffer back injuries on the job. In fact, 80% of us will experience some type of back pain, and 20 to 30% will end up with serious back problems. These injuries result in lost time and lost wages, not to mention some serious pain. In this program, we'll look at the basics of the back and spine to understand how most back injuries happen. We'll also look into ways to avoid these injuries through proper lifting technique. After the program, you'll find a bonus segment with exercises that will help keep your back strong and in shape. Your spine is a very complex structure made up of 24 separate bones stacked on top of each other, called vertebrae. Between the vertebrae are discs that act as shock absorbers. And running through the middle of both is the spinal cord. It's an amazing structure designed to be both strong and flexible. Add to this a host of supporting ligaments, tendons, and muscles, and you can see that there are plenty of things that can go wrong when it comes to your back. That's why you should make every effort to protect this vital area of your body. Let's talk in more detail about the discs, those vital links between your vertebrae. Here's a good way to think of a disc. It's like a jelly donut that's tough on the outside and soft on the inside. Whenever you bend or twist, the discs in your spine compress, allowing the spine to move with you. Right behind the discs are nerves, some of which run out to your arms and legs. If you put too much pressure on a disc, it can pinch a nerve, sending pain all the way down your leg. When you're born, the discs in your spine are made up of about 80% water. As you get older, though, the discs become dehydrated, which makes them more rigid. Discs can't repair themselves like bones and skin because they have no blood supply. So even the process of aging results in disc damage, which can lead to back pain. Another way to damage these discs is by overstressing them. You can do this by lifting something that's too heavy, lifting incorrectly, or even just by twisting your back the wrong way. Any of these things can result in a disc bulging out. That's called a herniated disc. Some people say they've blown out their back when this happens. When a disc bulges, it's likely to hit a nearby nerve, resulting in back pain. Muscles that connect to your spine are another hot spot for back pain or injury. Almost everyone has pulled a muscle at one time or another, so you know that it takes days, even weeks, for the muscle to heal. When that muscle is connected to your spine, it puts nearby ligaments, tendons, nerves, and discs at risk. The result can be back, neck, and sometimes even arm and leg pain. The best way to avoid back pain and injury is to keep your back in the neutral position as much as possible. In this position, your spine is relaxed and it forms an S-curve. Problems can arise when your spine is not in this position, but don't worry, there are ways to minimize the risks, and we'll talk about those soon. But first, here's a little test to help you determine if your spine is in the neutral S-curve position. Stand with your back against a door jamb. Your upper back and buttocks should touch the jamb, and your heels should be a few inches away. Now, slide your hand into the space between your lower back and the jamb. It should slide in easily, but almost touch the jamb and your lower back. This is your spine's most comfortable position. Of course, no matter what your job, it's impossible to keep your back in this position all the time. And the longer you keep your spine out of the neutral position, the more likely you are to overstress it. That doesn't mean just for heavy lifting jobs. You can overstress your back sitting down, standing up too long, or even lying down in the wrong position. Back pain occurs across the worker spectrum. If your job requires you to do the same task in the same position over and over, you're a candidate for back problems. Doing something over and over can stress tendons, muscles, and sensitive nerves. This can cause repetitive stress injuries like tennis elbow or carpal tunnel syndrome. A key to avoiding these disorders is to regularly let your body return to its neutral position. When a job requires a lot of one movement, stop every hour or so and reverse direction. If you've been bending forward a lot, support your back and bend backwards for a few seconds. If you've been reaching up, gently drop forward and be sure you balance yourself by gripping a solid object or lean forward with your hands on your knees for support. Whenever you don't reverse stretch, you stress the next level of balancers. First ligaments, then nerves, and finally a disc in your spine. Part of your job involves lifting, so it's vital that you use the correct technique to avoid back injury. We'll explain these techniques later in the program. First though, let's do a little self-assessment. Some back problems happen instantly, like when you strain to lift a box that's too heavy and you tear a muscle. If that happens, you'll know it right away. But most back problems develop gradually during years of abuse and get worse over time. Here are some early warning signs to help you ward off more serious back injuries. First, you should watch for muscle fatigue or aching that goes away with rest. This is a common warning sign that you're overstressing your back. Other signs include numbness, burning, stiffness, tingling. These may go away temporarily if you stop the movement that's causing them. Another warning sign is decreased range of motion. That's when your body won't move as far as it once did, like when you can't raise your arm as high as you used to. Make sure you listen to what your back is telling you. Ignoring these early warning signs can lead to more permanent and painful problems. When it comes to lifting, the first thing to do is size up your load. If it's too big, divide it up. Ask a coworker to help, or use a machine like a cart or a dolly. Be honest with yourself about how much you can safely lift. Trying to be a hero can be very costly to your health. Next, check your path. You need to be sure you have a clear path to wherever you're going before you pick up the load. Also, look for slanted or uneven surfaces. Don't get caught off guard. One slip could cause a lifetime of back problems, because once your back is injured, it has only minimal healing capabilities. That means you could have problems from then on. Okay, you've sized up your load and determined that it's manageable. You've cleared the path. Now it's time for the actual lifting. First, move as close as you can to your load. With your feet shoulder-width apart, put one foot ahead of the other to form a stable foundation. Bending at the hips, lean over your forward leg, making sure to keep your spine in the neutral S-curve position. Now, get a good firm grip on the load, using your palms, not just your fingers, and let your legs do the lifting. Legs have the largest muscles, so it makes sense to use them to lift. Remember to exhale as you lift, because holding your breath adds unnecessary stress. Keep the load close to your body. The further away an object is from your body, the more stress you're putting on your lower back to lift it. For loads you're lifting from the ground, drop to one knee and lift the load to balance it on your knee. Pause, adjust your grip, exhale, and then come to a standing position. Again, make sure you hold the load as close to your body as possible. Keep your head up and look straight ahead while lifting. This helps your spine maintain its neutral S-curve position. If you have to make a turn while you're carrying a load, aim one foot in the new direction and use your feet, not your waist, to pivot or walk out the turn. Remember to keep your hips in line with your shoulders.